By now, it's safe to guess that everybody knows who Spider-Man is, right? And thanks to the new animated movies, you're most likely acquainted with Miles Morales too. But these two Spider-Men are not known just from the movies and comics. There were also video games made with them as central characters. Two of the most notable and highly acclaimed games are Marvel's Spider-Man, the 2018 PS4 exclusive, and of course Spider-Man Miles Morales, released in 2020 for both the PS4 and PS5. With the new Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is set to release worldwide on October 20th, 2023 as a PS5 exclusive, we've decided that now would be the best time to recap what happened in the two previous games. That way, when the new game comes out, you'll be prepared to launch yourself straight into the Spider-Man universe. I'm Josh, welcome to HotFix Gaming. Today, we'll dive into the storylines of two fantastic Spider-Man games, Marvel's Spider-Man and its successor, Miles Morales. So, let's get started. The 2018 game, Marvel's Spider-Man's in-game mechanics are reminiscent of older Spider-Man titles. It's a well-developed story that truly makes it stand out from its predecessors. The game puts you into the role of a older, more seasoned Peter Parker, who is now 23 years old. This means he's been Spider-Man for around 8 years by that point. The game throws you straight into action by having Peter help NYPD Captain Yuri Watanabe bring Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin, to justice. Once Kingpin is put behind bars, Spider-Man catches wind of a break-in at an auction house that happens to be storing Fisk's collections of artwork and artifacts. This is the place where Spider-Man runs into Mary Jane Watson, who is also on site to investigate for her position at the Daily Bugle. The pair had broken up in the months prior, but at this point Mary Jane is fully aware of Spider-Man's identity. But their reunion is swiftly interrupted as the auction house is taken over by a group of masked gunmen who manage to steal a file that Mary Jane had managed to secure just moments ago. The file contains information of a substance called Devil's Breath, which of course sounds like something that needs further investigation. So Mary Jane and Peter Parker decide to team up to figure out what the masked intruders are planning to do with that file. In the next chapter, Peter faces the challenge of balancing his life as Spider-Man with his personal responsibilities. He heads off to work as a lab assistant for Otto Octavius, where they collaborate on mechanical artificial arms. However, their work gets interrupted when Mayor Norman Osborn shuts down the lab, revealing the tense relationship between Octavius and Osborn. Aside from his superhero duties, Peter also visits Feast, a non-profit organization dedicated to helping the homeless. The organization is led by Martin Lee, and Peter's Aunt May serves as Lee's second-in-command. During their conversation about masked intruders, Lee warns Peter about a group called the Inner Demons and advises him to steer clear of them and the investigation. However, Peter is determined to pursue the matter, despite the cautionary advice. Throughout the game, Spider-Man has several encounters with the demons, often with the help of his new ally, NYPD Officer Jeff Davis. Together, they collaborate to dismantle some of the demons' operations. During a re-election rally for Mayor Osborn, Davis is honored with the city's Medal of Honor for his bravery. Present at the event are Peter, Mary Jane, and Davis's family, including his wife and son, Rio and Miles Morales. As Officer Davis delivers his speech, a mysterious ominous call is made, threatening to unleash destruction upon the city and its mayor. Tragically, right after the call, demon suicide bombers carry out a devastating explosion at the rally, resulting in numerous casualties, including Officer Davis. The blast renders Peter unconscious, but before losing consciousness, he witnesses Martin Lee transforming into Mr. Negative, exposing himself as the mastermind behind the demon's activities. After the devastating attack, Osborn decides to enhance the city's security by enlisting Silver Sable to neutralize Martin Lee and the demons. Throughout the game, Sable and her team maintain a tense relationship with Spider-Man, often finding themselves at odds. Peter offers Miles the chance to assist at Feast, and Miles gladly accepts the opportunity. While helping with supplies, Miles is accidentally bitten by a radioactive spider, which grants him superpowers. Meanwhile, Peter focuses more on tracking down Lee and the Inner Demons. Throughout their investigation, they uncover Lee's sinister plan to utilize Oscorp's biochemical weapon called Devil's Breath to annihilate Osborn and the entire city. Spider-Man and Mary Jane manage to thwart Lee's scheme in time. In a fierce battle within the subway tunnels of New York, Spider-Man defeats Lee, leading to his imprisonment at the high-security Raft prison, reserved for the most dangerous criminals. In the meantime, Octavius completes the development of his advanced, tentacle-like mechanical arms, controlled by a mental implant. Unfortunately, the untested implant negatively affects Octavius's mind, pushing him towards the path of villainy, adopting the identity of Dr. Octopus. Fueled by his desire for revenge and hatred towards Osborn, Dr. Octopus stages an audacious attack on the raft, releasing dangerous inmates into the city. He also recruits a few exceptionally skilled prisoners, forming the formidable Sinister Six, including Shocker, Vulture, Rhino, Scorpion, and Mr. Negative. The group keeps Spider-Man quite busy, while Doc Ock steals Devil's Breath and manages to release it over Times Square, affecting thousands of people, including Aunt May. As Spider-Man rushes to tend to the chaos that has gripped the entire city, Mary Jane is on a mission to find a cure for Devil's Breath. This is a particularly time-sensitive issue, as Aunt May's health is declining dramatically. As Mary Jane stumbles upon Osborn's secret lab at his penthouse, she learns there about Lee's hatred for Osborn, which stems from childhood. Back when Osborn and Octavius were partners, Lee was a test subject for early Devil's Breath studies. But the test was too overwhelming for Lee at the time, causing him to accidentally kill his own parents with his newly acquired powers. Eventually, Mary Jane is able to figure out where the antidote is located and informs Peter, who swiftly swings into battle with Lee. With the help of the now trusting Silver Sable, Spider-Man manages to defeat Lee once again, but their victory is short-lived as Doc Ock emerges and steals the only remaining sample of the antidote after beating Spider-Man to a pulp. Despite his injuries, Peter focuses on constructing a specialized armored suit that would withstand the powerful onslaught of Dr. Octopus's arms. The new outfit proves effective as Spider-Man triumphs over Doc Ock, reclaiming the Devil's Breath cure. Unfortunately, the quantity of the sample is quite limited, and they do not have enough time to create more. Which brings us to probably the most emotional moment of the game. The moment when Peter has to make the tough decision whether to save his aunt or use the antidote to cure thousands of other infected New Yorkers. He ultimately chooses to hand off the cure to help the broader population. Before Aunt May passes away, she reveals that she has known Peter's secret identity as Spider-Man all along. She is then buried next to Uncle Ben. After 3 months, life seems to have returned to normal. Just before the credits roll, Peter and Mary Jane share a passionate kiss, suggesting that their relationship may be rekindled. In a mid-credits scene, Miles reveals to Peter that he's acquired spider-like abilities, demonstrated by his ability to jump and stick to the ceiling. Peter responds by showing his own abilities, joining Miles on the ceiling and revealing that he is Spider-Man. In the post-credits scene, Norman Osborn is seen in his secret lab, vowing to find a cure for his son Harry. Harry is suspended in a tank, surrounded by a mysterious black web-like substance that forms the shape of Norman's hand when he touches the glass. In the 2020 game, Miles Morales' journey begins about a year after the conclusion of the events in Marvel's Spider-Man. Under Peter's guidance, Miles has honed his newfound spider powers and can become a capable Spider-Man in his own right. As the game starts, Miles is thrust into a dangerous situation together with Peter, as they're escorting an NYPD convoy carrying some of the city's most notorious criminals to the newly rebuilt Raft prison. While at the beginning everything seems to be going fine, a moment of mild recklessness on Miles's part leads to a catastrophic accident. The convoy collapses and the dangerous criminals manage to escape. While Peter and Miles work hard to contain the situation, their efforts are overwhelmed by the appearance of Rhino, who is also an escaped inmate. Rhino proves too powerful for Peter to handle, leaving him partially unconscious. In a desperate bid to save his mentor, Miles taps into his latent venom powers, revealing a new set of abilities. He manages to defeat Rhino and rescue Peter from imminent danger. This encounter catches the attention of Simon Kruger, the influential head of the energy corporation Roxxon, located in Harlem. Kruger expresses gratitude to the two Spider-Men for incapacitating Rhino and pledges to handle the reincarceration of the criminal. Following this intense and lethal clash, Peter informs Miles about his new job as a photographer and his upcoming trip to Symkaria for a few weeks. As a gesture of trust and responsibility, Peter bestows Miles with his very own spider suit, entrusting him to protect New York as its sole Spider-Man in his absence. Embracing his new role, Miles navigates the responsibilities of being a neighborhood superhero while wearing his new suit. At home, he reunites with his childhood friend Finn, who appears lively but slightly distracted. In the coming days, Miles immerses himself in helping his community and relishes the opportunity to become New York's Spider-Man. Around this time, Miles also reconnects with his uncle, Aaron Davis, who quickly figures out his secret identity but promises to keep it confidential. The tranquility doesn't last though, as a criminal organization called the Underground emerges during Miles' mum, Rio Morales' political campaign. As the fight between Miles, Underground and Roxxon, it is revealed that the leader of the Underground syndicate is none other than Finn herself, using the alias Tinkerer. While Miles successfully thwarts the loss of innocent lives during the Underground's attacks, Roxxon marks him as a significant threat. In a harrowing moment, Miles' newfound cloaking powers save him from being shot by Roxxon's soldiers. The campaign incident leaves Miles emotionally scarred, but witnessing his mother's resilience and encouragement from Ganke, his best friend, motivates him to continue fighting for the city. Ganke reminds Miles that he's more than just a shadow of Peter, he is the Spider-Man. With Ganke's support, Miles sets out to create a unique spider suit that aligns with his personality and powers. Armed with his new attire, he confronts Finn to understand her motivations for turning to the dark side and to seek a way to stop her destructive path. Miles learns that Finn's actions stem from the loss of her brother, who became a victim of Kruger's energy converter experiments. Seeking revenge, Finn plans to decimate Roxxon by triggering a massive explosion. Tragically, this act will result in catastrophic damage to Harlem and its innocent inhabitants. In a pivotal moment, Miles reveals his secret identity to Finn, which further strains their relationship. However, drawing inspiration from his uncle, who secretly operates as the mercenary Prowler, Miles attempts to talk Finn out of her vengeful plan. He invites her to their cherished place in Harlem, the church, hoping to reason with her. But destiny takes a dark when Miles realizes he's been set up by his uncle. Both he and Finn are ambushed by Rhino, now supporting a formidable Roxxon-modified armor, rendering him resistant to Miles' venom attacks. Captured by Roxxon, Miles endures torment at the hands of their soldiers, leading to the emergence of another latent ability. Fleeing from the Roxxon compound, Miles faces brutal confrontation in the exit bay, where Roxxon soldiers and Rhino lie in ambush. The duo manages to overpower Rhino, but his taunts provoke Finn, causing her to unleash a deadly assault. Miles intervenes, preventing her from crossing that line and taking a life. However, Finn retaliates, nearly overpowering Spider-Man and warning him to stay out of her way. Despite the bitter encounter, Miles remains determined to reach out to Finn and make her comprehend the consequences of her actions and the potential loss of innocent lives. Before he can approach the Underground once again, Miles is unexpectedly captured by Prowler. His uncle apologizes for inadvertently leading him into Roxxon's clutches and asks him to stay in a safe house to protect him. However, Miles cannot sit idly while Harlem faces danger. Breaking free from his confinement, he confronts Prowler and manages to overcome him in combat. Undeterred by the Prowler's warning, Miles races to Harlem, where the Underground and Roxxon continue to clash. Enlisting the help of his mother, Rio, and Ganke, he orchestrates the evacuation of Harlem's citizens to safety. Finally, at Roxxon Plaza, Miles faces Finn one last time in an emotional and intense showdown. Though he manages to defeat her, he is eventually overpowered and she activates the reactor, setting off an impending cataclysmic explosion. Realizing the error in her calculations, Finn apologizes to Miles. Witnessing Finn's willingness to sacrifice herself for the greater good, Miles is deeply moved. In an incredible feat, he absorbs the energy from the reactor, preventing the explosion and saving Harlem. This act of heroism inspires Finn to help him in return. Using the energy from her suit, she carries Miles into the clouds and asks him to discharge the accumulated power, resulting in a massive explosion that seemingly claims Finn's life but preserves Harlem. Miles falls back to the ground, surrounded by a group of survivors he aided throughout his journey, along with Ganke and his mother. These grateful citizens promise to keep Miles' identity a secret, establishing him as their very own Spider-Man. A few days later, Peter returns from his vacation and the two Spider-Men reunite to embark on new adventures together, safeguarding New York. The story of Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales concludes, leaving the doors open for an exciting sequel as their heroic journey continues. What does the future hold for Peter Parker and Miles Morales? We don't know, but we're very excited for the new Spider-Man 2 to come out in October. What do you think will happen in the game? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. And as always, if you enjoyed this type of content and want to see more gaming videos, make sure to subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again in the next video.